Don't miss a second of our special early prime lineup tonight.
Nearly 2 months after the attack on the U.S. consulate in Libya that killed 4 Americans, Fox News has learned the FBI is finally getting access to the sole suspect in custody. His name is Ali Anzi al-Harzi, and he's currently being held in Tunisia. He was arrested in the days after the attack, but it wasn't until Senator Lindsey Graham and company, and our next guest included, put pressure on the authorities in Tunisia that the U.S. gain access to this guy. What took so long? And this is the same FBI that didn't go to the crime scene, the murder scene, for a week. Joining us right now, Georgia Senator Saxby Chambliss. Senator, you got access, but there's even some conditions on the access, isn't there?
Well, the important thing, Brian, is that we do now have access to this individual, and there usually are conditions of some sort that are placed on interrogations by the host country, but the important thing is that we now do have face-to-face access to this guy. You know, this all started not long after I left you last week in New York. I went over to the FBI office there that has charge of this investigation. And these very professional men and women who really do a good job every single day in investigating crimes were really frustrated. I could tell that because they were being asked to operate with one hand behind their back. We knew this guy was in custody, and yet nobody was doing anything to get a face-to-face interrogation with him. So it was a matter of Senator Graham and I just putting a little pressure on the Tunisians, and they capitulated fairly quickly. It was almost like nobody had even asked them.
Senator, bring me into the way this process works. I imagine the FBI would be pressuring guys like you to get them access, not the other way around, you pressuring another government to get ex-FBI access.
Well, the FBI has certain protocol, and they are not involved in the policy side. They leave that to the policy professionals. They are law enforcement individuals, and they were very frustrated too, Brian, about the fact that they were stuck in Tripoli, did not have the necessary security to get into Benghazi to conduct their investigations there. They weren't getting cooperation from the Libyans, nor were they getting cooperation from the United States government.
Now, let me see, Senator. There was a UN meeting where we could have had an access to the Tunisian leadership, the president one-on-one, where he could have pressured them immediately to let them know, anybody that you get, we need to see. And also talk about some threats that could be coming out of that country in particular. That didn't take place. And as far as I know, the White House, who pledges to get the assailants to bring them to justice, hasn't even put pressure. Why does it have to come from your branch of government?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't. I mean, this, again, another example of just very poor leadership coming out of this White House. It shouldn't
Senator
be
Feinstein
left up
on
to
this?
Senator Graham and I.
What about Senator Feinstein? She's a Democrat with great, she's a leader.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Diane about this. I'm not sure where she is. It unravels so quickly. Senator Graham and I just said, hey, if nobody else is going to do this, by golly, we're going to at least give it a shot.
She's chairperson.
Help our folks
Senator,
out.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but she's chairperson of the Senate Select Intelligence Committee. Why do you haven't? How could she not be interested in this? Is she being pressured by her party to stay low?
Well, obviously, Brian, you'd have to ask her that. I don't know. Diane's in the last few days of a campaign herself, and she had her reasons, I'm sure. But, you know, this was just a no-brainer. You have a brand new country or a brand new government forming in a country that wants to be an ally of the United States. And as we explained to the charge, if you truly are going to be an ally of the United States and want our assistance, then you've got to help us with situations like this. And the charge agreed immediately, and obviously our folks are on the ground with access.
Anyone who says it's pure politics doesn't know that you're actually taking action and moving this process forward, and this is proof. Senator Chambliss, thanks so much for spending your Sunday with us.
Sure, good to be with you, Brian.
All right. Meanwhile, in the last 40 minutes, amongst the things we have coming your way, Sarah Palin just did something big to make sure Mitt Romney wins the White House. What was it? Stick around. Then, rising from the rubble of destruction, American pride. Peter Johnson Jr.